Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the East 10 Outpost. I'm Cody, and I'm going to be your narrator today for a very special Christmas edition of Porch Stories. Christmas has a long-standing tradition of telling spooky stories, and this year's going to be no exception, my friends. So, without further ado, let's take a look at one of history's most enduring and fascinating folklore legends. We all know what happens when we make the good list, but what happens when we make the naughty list? Well, let's listen and take a look. In the sleepy village of Alpenheim, nestled deep within the Austrian Alps, the winter nights grew long and the air was crisp with the scent of pine and snow. Christmas was approaching, but this year an ancient fear was stirring among the villagers. As children hung their stockings and the adults prepared for the festive season, whispers of Krampus, the Christmas devil, echoed through the narrow streets. Old Frau Märta, the oldest resident, would often recount tales of Krampus with a shiver in her voice, her eyes wide with both fear and belief. This year, the snow fell thicker and colder than ever before, blanketing the village in a silence so profound it seemed to muffle even the sound of laughter. On the night before Christmas, the children of Alpenheim were tucked into bed earlier than usual by parents anxious to ward off any unwanted visitors. But young Hans, always the curious one, could not resist the allure of the myths. He lay awake, his mind racing with the images of that horned beast that roamed the mountains, punishing the naughty while St. Nicholas rewarded the good. With the moon casting eerie shadows through his frosty window, Hans decided he would go peek outside just for a moment. The village was bathed in an otherworldly glow, the snow reflecting the moon like a sea of ice. Hans crept out, his breath forming clouds in the cold air. Suddenly, from the depths of the forest, he heard the jingle of chains, a sound not of joy, but of warning. There, at the edge of the forest, stood Krampus. He was terrifying, his body covered in dark fur, his face grotesque with a long, twisted tongue, and eyes that glowed with a sinister light. Chains wrapped around his wrists and clinked as he moved, and a sack, rumored to be filled with naughty children, hung from his back. Hans froze, his heart pounding like a drum, but Krampus seemed to sense him, turning his head with an unnatural grace. The beast's gaze locked onto Hans, who felt an icy dread seep into his bones. Krampus began to walk towards him, each step crunching through the snow, his antlers scraping against the low-hanging branches. Hans tried to run, but his feet felt like lead. As Krampus drew closer, the boy could smell the stench of brimstone and hear the beast's ragged breaths. Just as Krampus extended his clawed hand towards him, a voice called out, "Hans!" It was his father, holding a lantern, its light piercing through the darkness. The sight of his father broke the spell of fear, and Hans ran to him, nearly knocking him over with relief. When they turned back, Krampus was gone, vanished into the shadows of the forest, leaving only footprints that seemed to smolder in the snow. Back in the safety of their home, Hans' father spoke sternly about the dangers of wandering out at night, especially during the time of year when Krampus roams. But there was a twinkle of relief in his eye and a silent acknowledgement of the old stories that just might hold a grain of truth. From that night on, Hans never doubted the tales of Krampus, and each year, as Christmas approached, the children of Alpenheim would behave just a little bit better, listening intently to the story of the boy who saw Krampus and lived to tell the tale. Well, my friends, what do you think about one of Christmas time's most interesting characters? I've got to say, for as spooky as he is, I'm kind of sad that I missed out on those stories as a kid, but hey, here's your chance to pass them on to a child in your life and scare the bejesus out of them for Christmas. Who knows? Maybe it'll make a difference in their life for next year. But no matter what you celebrate, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or any of the many, many pagan holidays under the sun, enjoy today. Enjoy the rest of the year. Enjoy family. Enjoy love and laughter. And enjoy the life and the world that we get to be a part of, because it truly is a gift. And this time of year, it's important that we remember that. And I would like to thank you for everything that you've been a part of, and hopefully for all the adventures you'll join me on to come. So we'll see you around, and no matter what you do today, stay warm, be indomitable, and above all, my friends, stay curious.